Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is John Viglotti, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for our next presentation from BrandPilot AI. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome John Beersford. He's the Chief Revenue Officer of BrandPilot AI, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol BPAIF and on the CSE under the symbol BPAI. Welcome, John.
Thanks a million, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Really appreciate it. I don't know if any of you have done public speaking, but it is kind of nerve-wracking. You all look very intimidating to me right now. So one of the things I do is when I do public speaking, I tend to show this slide. And if you're ever public speaking yourself and you're nervous and you're trying to make a connection, one of the best things you could do is to share something personal about yourself. So I put up a picture of my wife, Robin, my daughter, Avalon. I was educated at Memorial University in Newfoundland. I did a psychology neuroscience degree. And then I did my MBA at Wilfrid Laurier University in Ontario, Canada, where I'm a professor. I've been there for 10 years. And I also did a run. The crux of my career, I spent 11 years at BlackBerry. I started when the stock price was here, and then I left when the stock price was back there. But after BlackBerry, I co-founded Social Peaks with a couple of celebrity TV personalities called the Property Brothers. There's these twins that fix up homes on television. They introduced us to this notion of famous people on social media who weren't celebrities. And they introduced us to influencer marketing. And that's a term that we all know now. But back in 2013, we were one of the first companies in the world to do influencer marketing, which has brought me to BrandPilot today. So now you know something a little bit more about me. We have a subconscious connection that we didn't have 30 seconds ago. But what we're going to talk about today is BrandPilot. And BrandPilot, what keeps us going and what gets us energized is the notion that effective marketing has never been more difficult than it is right now. And if any of you have marketing teams or are responsible for approving marketing budgets, you know this better than anyone. One of the stats that's shocking to us and that's driving a lot of what we do is research from 2023 that shows that $1 of every 3 spent on digital advertising is wasted. That is terrifying. If you have a CMO, you should mention this to them when you go back to your office. And so we got to think about, well, why is that happening? Well, it turns out a lot of the traffic that's going through advertising right now is actually becoming victim to fraud, whether it's fraudulent bots, all the way up to even just fraud accounts are accounting for about 40% of all digital ad traffic. So that's a major, major problem. What we're going to talk about today is how brands that want to win, the companies that are going to win going forward, are going to need to do 2 things. They're going to need to protect the marketing budgets they have from the wastage we just talked about. They're going to have to outsmart their competition. And that's what we're here to help them do. We've got a business model that hinges on those 2 things. How do we help people save and recover wasted marketing budget that we know is happening? And then how can we help them reinvest that into activities that maximize their ROI? So it really is a sort of 2-sided market, helping protect budget on one side, and then helping them maximize budget on the other. And that's what we think is unique to our business model. So the one example I'm going to start with is one we're all familiar with, which is Google ad search. So it's important to know, if you're not familiar with it, revenue from sort of Google advertising generates, in 2023, was about $230 billion in revenue to Google. Pretty important to them. So let's go through a scenario that we're all familiar with. Imagine you're Googling Adidas. You're going to buy Adidas. We've all done this before. You put in the product and the brand name, and what pops up? It's a sponsored ad. And by clicking on that sponsored ad, I just cost Adidas $5, $1.50. I don't know what the bid was. We just cost Adidas money when we were trying to get to their website to begin with. Has anyone done this before? You've Googled something, the sponsored ad comes up. How many of you click the sponsored ad? Right. Most of us do, right? And we're just poor Adidas needs to give Google more money. Let's look at a company that's using our technology, Nike. When you Google Nike, that doesn't happen. The reason that doesn't happen is because of something called branded keyword search. So the reason that Adidas is bidding on its own names and its own product name, why would they pay for something they own? It's so their competition doesn't bid against them and steal their share. So if you and I owned a sneaker company, one of the first tactics we do is we'd go to Google and say, hey, anytime someone puts in Adidas, show them a sponsor of our new sneakers and tell them, it's way better than Adidas. That happens. Every company is doing it. It's called branded keyword ad search. It represents about 18% of a brand's Google search budget. What our technology is doing is it's plugging into the Google Search Console for the brand, and it's listening in real time. And as you type in Adidas, it's listening. And if nobody's bidding on those keywords, it'll suppress your sponsored ad, and it'll just let the organic one come up. Or it can even be more clever. We can clone your sponsored ad, which is really expensive. If nobody's bidding against your keywords, we can suppress the expensive ad. Don't give Google money. If the whole point of bidding is because of competition, we suppress it, and then we just show up a 1-cent ad. So once again, the technology is really complicated, but the idea is simple. And at the end of the day, where this turns out is we're able to save about 15 to 30% of the brand's Google search budget for their branded keywords. And then we can do about 5 to 10 for non-branded keywords. That would be, I'm looking for running sneakers or something like that. The part that gets me excited about this is we have a 100% risk-free offer to brands. All we do is charge a percent of what we recover from the Google search budget they would have spent every month. So they don't need to go and find budget. It's completely risk-free. It's one of the best offers to try and open a door with. I'll even encourage you guys, if you're on your phones, if you type in Legible Ink, the wonderful presentation we just had, you'll see they're suffering from the same problem, and that they've got a sponsored ad coming up even when they don't want one. And they're very serious about lowering their CAC. I would love to have a conversation with them about how we can help with that. So if you try that, it'll work for you. So the technology is new, but because the value proposition is so strong, because it's so performance-based, we've been able to have it, technology has been adopted by some pretty significant brands like Ford and Harley Davidson. So I'll pause for a second, because what we talked about there was one half of our business strategy, which was protecting marketing budgets. The other half of it is helping them maximize budgets, and what can we do differently? And so I founded, one of the first influencer marketing companies back in 2013. So I love talking about this. One of the interesting angles we've taken at BrandPilot for influencer marketing is targeting enterprise influencer marketing. And that is a blue ocean that's still sitting out there for everyone. Highly regulated industries like healthcare, financial services, investor relations are all in our wheelhouse of companies we can help with influencer marketing. And the approach we take is a little different. I'll talk you through it. Instead of just thinking about content living on social media for 24 hours or something like that, we take an approach where the video that the person created is the important asset that we're going to do more with. And so I'll talk you through it really quickly. Essentially, we have an influencer search engine with about 300 million profiles indexed. We can use AI to determine exactly the kind of people that an enterprise company might want to work with, whether it's healthcare or financial services. It could be fashion and fitness, but I'm telling you, the blue ocean in all of this is the enterprise space. They create content for us, mostly video content. We deal almost 100% in video content these days. That content lives online and does its thing. It gets shared, it becomes viral, people become aware of it through that content. But what's interesting is we do more than that. So we analyze the content as it's performing on social, and then we take the best pieces of it and we bring it to our clients and say, let's do something more with it. Let's embed this video in your website. I'll show you our video hosting platform. Let's turn that video into paid advertising that you can now optimize and do more of. So that's our approach to influencer marketing. I'll highlight a couple of our products. This is a screenshot of our influencer marketing search engine. We're using AI to be able to identify an influencer's audience, demographics, location. We can even analyze how brand safe their content is, which is really important. The second piece I'm going to show you is we're actually looking at, let me just take it back for a second. One of the other pieces we learned is that video is critically important to marketing. If anyone can think of the Legible presentation, which was amazing, what was the part of the presentation that stood out most for you? For me, it was that first video. It kind of explained everything. I remembered everything. It was interactive. It's sort of the whole point. So what we're learning is about 95% of messages are retained when they're consumed by someone using video, and only 10% when they're read. Now go back to our own web pages. How many of your web pages are immersive video that help visitors figure out what's going on? Probably very little. Marketers that are leveraging video content extensively are seeing 600% better conversion rates than those that don't. And so that's why we do what we do, which is this video hosting process. I'll sort of show you what you're looking at is a wonderful customer of ours, Pacific Service Credit Unions. This is their existing website. It's great. It probably looks like yours. There's some content here, but this is what their website's going to look like when we finish our project with them. It's interactive video content that makes the website way more dynamic. And what's really exciting is you can pop up the video and put the call to action button, buy now, learn more, right there in the video. The part that excites us the most here is that beautiful video we're looking at. It's probably the most compelling thing on this webpage now. That's the video that one of our influencers created. So we find these influencers, they create amazing content. We do more with it. It lives on the website. It powers the website, powers conversion. We can even turn it into paid media. So that's our approach to maximizing what people normally thought was influencer marketing, which was quite disposable. So I don't have time to talk about all the wonderful things we're doing at BrandPilot, but you get the idea. We are obsessive about two things: helping people protect the marketing budgets they have that are being, in some cases, 40% of your web traffic, ad traffic is fraudulent, unacceptable. So we are solving that problem. Then the other piece of it is how do we deliver products and services that are helping people do more with their budget. So we started with our Ad AI as the Google search we talked about, influencer marketing, and our Video Plus. We've also got a fraud AI product, and we're launching new stuff all the time. We're looking at verifying traffic and strategic M&A. We're very passionate about solving more of these problems like fraudulent pattern detection. We're going to be doing stuff with traffic and click verification. And then, a big part for us is we're striving towards is this real-time ad fraud prediction. So that's what we're up to from a business standpoint. So what I'll do now is just take a second to talk to you about our growth strategy, maybe introduce the team a little bit that we're working with. What excites me as a chief revenue officer is knowing that the market we're serving is growing significantly. The ad budgets are going up. They're going to be up to 58 billion, 7.8% growth rate. So the problem is only getting worse. Fraud is not going down. Waste is not going down. Budgets are going up. The problem's getting exacerbated. So it's exciting for us to know that this is sort of the place we're playing in. Our investment 3Cs is based on sort of three things. There's a bunch here, but the main ones are, we know that there's a confluence between ad budgets increasing, the importance of social media in advertising, and this combination of entertainment and advertising converging. That's a big part of what our business strategy is based on. And then the final piece is that AI is helping us deliver solutions around all that way faster. So that's like the big thing we're excited about from our investment thesis. The other piece is we have an amazing board. Members of our board are here. They came down to support us all the way from Canada. We have someone local in New York. Our CEO's here, but we strategically put this board together so that we can execute the vision we have for tackling this market. We've got this balanced team of expertise, all here for specific reasons. We've got a group that are experts at marketing and advertising. We've got members who are unbelievable at technology, taking it to market, vetting it, all that good stuff. We've also got an important group of our team are experts at capital markets and even experts at mergers and acquisitions. And we put this team together specifically because we are looking to grow very quickly in a short period of time. That is our goal. We're going to do that through the new technologies we bring to market, through strategic M&A. That's what gets us very, very excited. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. If you're at all interested in what we're doing, we're listed on the CSE. We've been so excited to be involved with the Canadian Securities Exchange. They've been so helpful with content and work we're doing together. But more importantly, don't be afraid to reach out to us. We've got the team here. Feel free to look us up. If you have introductions you think would be interesting. Legible, we just had here, Legible is someone who needs to know about the work we can do to help them save their budget. Any introductions you could do, happy to hear it. Any feedback you have for us, ideas, strategic partnerships, please feel free to suggest it all. And as a reminder, we are traded on the CSE and then on the OTCQB with the tickers you see above. So I think I went pretty efficiently and got us back on track.
Very efficient. Are there any questions in the audience?
It does allow more time for questions now, which is great. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, please.
Thank you. In terms of the fraudulent activity with visitors clicking on the ad links, what is the actual benefit for those people? Why is that even happening in the first place? Is it other businesses putting that into place to like, do you know what I mean by that?
It could be. There's a number of reasons. There's good. So wasted traffic's wasted traffic. But there are good bots which are visiting your website because they are being indexed by things like Google. There's nefarious bots out there. And so there's a lot of ad companies that want to jack up how much they're able to charge you because of creating bots that just artificially increase click traffic and things like that. So unfortunately, there's some are nefarious and some aren't, and you can't tell the difference, but we're trying to solve the problem for both. So it's a good question to ask, who's doing this? There's a lot of bad actors out there, especially in the ad fraud space, unfortunately.
Am I right to ask?
No, yeah, I think so.
In terms of Facebook and Instagram ads as well, is there any way for you guys? Are you working on a way for recovering ad spend on that front as well, or is it more so just the Google side?
Well, so the first product, the Tip of Spear product we have out now, is on the Google side.
Okay.
The expiration of roadmap. So the next roadmap domino that's most likely going to fall for us is in programmatic advertising. So those programmatic ad channels, which is out of home, outdoor, digital. There's a huge space there. The challenge with the Facebooks of the world is it is a walled garden and closed system. And so those there are a little bit more difficult to influence. Not impossible, but they are. One of the ones, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but one of the ones we're really excited about exploring is trying to do that same kind of search optimization we saw in Google within Amazon search. Because Amazon shopping is has anyone dealt with Amazon before, right? The revenue stream is obviously the deliverables they do on the transactions they make. But if any of you have been in the consumer space before, there's an enormous platform inside of Amazon that is all advertising, just like Google. We don't talk about it. At BlackBerry, we used to have to pay enormous amounts of money to optimize things at Amazon. And so that's another area that we're really, really excited about exploring.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, there's 2 questions in the back.
Can you just give a sense of, without even talking about a particular brand, but how much revenue are you talking about to you guys on a monthly basis? I don't know if you said Nike is actually a client or not, but what are you really saving them and what are you getting from that? Or what will you get?
No, it's a really good question. So for all of the different marketing systems have their own pricing model, right? So our video hosting platform is a monthly service people pay, but you're asking about the Google search recovery, right? Yeah, we're trying to keep things extremely simple. And the recovery rate for us, there's some variables that dictate how much that is, but it's around 20 to 30%. And then it's all standard in the contract. And then every month, the clients get a report that can show accurately in real time every single transaction that we saved them. So we have an auditing process where they can see, you're not just giving us revenue on goodwill and hope, even though we are Canadian and we're not that nice. So you can audit, the reports come every month fully audited. And then depending on some variables, how much other work you do with us, we're charging about 20 to 30% as a recovery fee. But what excites us more, well, as much, is what those folks are going to do with the other 80, 70% we've recovered for them. Because as any of you have run marketing teams before, you can save a marketing team money. And I ran a marketing team at BlackBerry. We do not give the money back. We will find a way to spend it every quarter. And so that's what's really it's both. We're making revenue on the savings, but then redeployment and reinvestment is a really important part of our strategy.
Can you just give us a number, dollars and cents?
Oh, do you mean for how much someone would pay per month?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a great question. Oh, sorry, my apologies, that wasn't clear. It's completely dynamic. So how much someone would pay is entirely dependent on how much traffic they're getting. Everyone's going to be different. The system's reading it in real time. Oh, yeah. So, an average budget would be ICP for us is someone spending around $150,000 in Google advertising. We know that about, let's call it 20% of that is branded keyword search. And so I don't have a calculator, but for the 150%, if 20% of it's branded keyword search, we'll save them about 30%. And for the rest of their budget, which should be the $110,000, we would save them about 5 to 10%. So those are the two numbers they would get invoiced every month. Did that explain it, or did I make it more complicated? Yes, that's right. Every month, right? The part we like the most is it's an entirely risk-free, performance-based offer. We have a 97% conversion rate on free trials because it's a no-brainer. Why would you not want to save even a little bit of money? And so that's the part that gets us excited. Was there another question in the back? Someone else had their hand up? No?
Sorry, I was trying to find my expenditures that we used to market this event on LinkedIn. Did anyone come to this event via a LinkedIn post? Was it the first time you heard of it? Yikes. So we did this thing, John, where we spent money to advertise this event on LinkedIn. I think we spent like $1,000.
Right.
It was like a click was costing us like $60 or something crazy like that. Yeah, exactly. Sorry. You have to
Did you say $60 a click?
I'm trying to find the number. It's multiple dozens of dollars per click. It's insane. So our organic way outperformed our paid, right? And you mentioned walled gardens, but I mean, I see LinkedIn where you get to a point where their cost of just search is insane, right? So any idea if you could work with some of these organizations, social media platforms to improve even their own internal walled gardens, as you call it?
Really good question.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that as I give this presentation, you may think to yourself, Google is not going to like these folks. Google will want to crush these folks. Google will not be happy about John sitting up here running his mouth. What we've found is that Google partners have started to refer customers to the technology, in part to just help them optimize it. Because if you optimize it against the bidding, you're saving money. In most cases, they're going to reinvest it in paid media again. So it's a really good one. So the reason I say that is because we're having, what could have been a nervous response from Google is turning into a really positive one, which is giving us a lot more encouragement now to go out and reach to these other groups like LinkedIn, Meta, to say, yeah, there's a really healthy scenario where we can help you and help your clients optimize their budgets. Because if people find out they're wasting money, they're going to get angry, right? Nobody wants to pay for traffic that's not working. If these platforms don't do their job in converting, you're going to get frustrated eventually. And so if we can help them optimize that, we're excited. But we have not had chats with LinkedIn. We're entirely focused on the first market for that technology is the Google one, because all the technology is specifically set to the Google Search Console.
Yeah. Sorry, it was $22 Canadian per sponsored engagement.
Right. And you can imagine if someone typed something in Google and a click was worth $22 and they're clicking it and they were trying to get to your website. You're just clicking on the sponsored link because it was the first one anyway.
Yeah, and we get lead gen that's just bringing us back people that already do business with us in many cases. So
yeah, exactly.
It's really not worth it.
Yeah. So that's the ad search side. Pardon me?
I want it to be worth it. So yeah, hopefully you can work with them because those platforms have value. Obviously, they have tremendous value.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly not disparaging. The other half of our business is leveraging those platforms to create great video content, get a message out there to hyper-targeted markets. We actually use that data from how videos perform in social to help determine which are the best ones to put into your website. Right? And even that website hosting, and we forgot to mention, it's a tiny line of code. We can work in any website. But it does make a dramatic difference when you see video instead of just static text.
Any other questions from the audience?
Yeah, so the competition for this one, and no one says none, right? So there are two other companies that we can find that are doing something similar to this. Now, the technology does have protected IP, but the other two technology companies, one is in New Zealand and one is in Europe. What's interesting is for one of them, this isn't even their main message they're selling. This is sort of it's a tool they're using during customer audits and stuff. It's not like a tip of spear marketing the way we are, but through our search, we've only been able to find two other companies, none of them public, all of them with less than 12 employees. Great question. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hi.
Oh, sorry, one more. Yeah.
Sorry, apologies as I didn't see the whole of the presentation.
It was breathtaking.
I'm sure. I just wondered, have you thought about listing in the UK?
We have thought about listing in the UK. We have thought about listing in Germany, and we would be happy to have that conversation. And oh, sorry, there's one more question here.
Thank you. So just quickly on the revenue. So you're with a couple companies. Is the subscription-based model just based on a month-by-month basis, or do you have some that are, on year-to-year basis?
Yeah, no, really good question. So for our influencer marketing services, because it's about half technology, we also have the team that recruit the influencers. You've got to direct the content to make the videos. So the revenue on that side of our business is project-based. Hey, we're doing a campaign, it's 10 influencers, this sort of piece. Our video hosting service is monthly subscription. So there's a setup fee and then month to month, which is great to put our tentacles into a client for long term. And then the ad fraud, waste, and abuse goes back to the complicated question you asked, which is it's subscription service in that we invoice them every month, but it's not a set price, right? And what's interesting is that in some months we'll save you less money. So if we're saving, let's say Lululemon, if we're saving them on average, whatever, $75,000 a month, there could be a month we save them less money. And it's not that we did anything differently. It's that their competition was bidding against their keywords. Like the whole point of this technology is it's real-time analytics of how, if your competition is betting against your keywords. So in a month where your competition is dormant, maybe they're not active, they're not bidding as much, we'll save you a ton of money. In a month where your competition is quite active, we will save you very little because you needed that bid to get there. The whole point of that is not to just save you money. We need to save brands money and not lose any of the website traffic. I forgot to mention that. That's the whole point, is everything, performance levels on digital need to stay the same. We're just saving you money. So in some cases, we'll save you less money, but that's because you needed the budget to maintain